Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Alex and this is TechFlow. Today we're looking at the GoPro Hero 5. I've had this pretty much since the launch week. Let's do this. So kicking things off, first off we're going to talk about the price tag. Now don't let this small tiny camera fool you. This thing, it can capture 4K and there's not many cameras on the market that are under £350 that can do this. Just bear that in mind when you're thinking about its price tag. Yes, this thing is small and mighty. We've got that down. GoPro have made some absolutely massive, significant changes since the last Hero, which was the HERO5 Black edition, I believe. Now we don't have a case involved to keep it waterproof. Now this is next level. So let's first off take a look around the GoPro. It's absolutely awesome because there isn't a case involved, so this is pretty much what you get. You've got the front of the GoPro with its lens, a little screen, and it's, well, no buttons now on the front. Brilliant stuff. I can't accidentally knock them like I did on the previous generation. The buttons have been moved to the top side and the side of the unit, and on the back we've got a LCD touchscreen. On the bottom is where you'll find your battery door with the removable battery inside. I'm so happy that GoPro is still doing removable batteries because it means you can physically bring another battery with you to hot swap and replace if your battery runs out. More on battery life a bit later. And under this seal flap, you've got a USB Type-C port, which is a little bit annoying, and a micro HDMI port. Props for this. Now I'm a little bit annoyed about the use of a USB-C port on this camera. Everyone that carries around a micro USB cable because, well, what device doesn't use a micro USB cable nowadays? They've put a USB-C port on this camera. I totally see why they've done it, future-proof and whatnot. I totally respect that, but it's just a little bit annoying to have to carry around extra cables. And if you don't have another USB-C cable, because USB-C is quite new, if you lose the cable, you're gonna have to buy a new one, which is fairly annoying, considering this is an action camera and you're meant to take it different places with you, pretty much everywhere with you. That's what it's for, it's tiny. So yes, this thing without a case is fully waterproof. You can submerge it underwater absolutely fine. And then it comes with the skeleton housing, which I really do like. You have access to all of your ports when it's in the housing. Obviously, if you have the port cover open, you're losing some of the, well, all of the waterproof capabilities. But still, it's a great option to have because with the last GoPro, if you put it in its house to mount the thing, you had no access to ports, so you couldn't charge it and use it at the same time. That was just a no-go unless you bought a third-party skeleton housing. This comes with it. And the GoPro just seems significantly more well-built than all of its previous predecessors. Now I'm really happy to report that on the inside of this camera, the brains inside of this camera reflect the awesome qualities of the outside of the camera. Now GoPros have never necessarily been slow, but the fact that this thing has a full-blown touchscreen on the back of it, it's very, very, very responsive. It makes changing settings an absolute breeze, changing modes an absolute breeze. You've got yourself a quick menu so you can change things like the Pro Tune, and on the screen you can quickly change, very quickly with literally a tap, your resolution and frames per second, which you can do up to 120 frames per second in 1080 now. And this thing can shoot up to 4K at 30 FPS. And let me tell you, it's no compromise. This thing is proper, sharp, crisp 4K. Now the GoPro also has built-in Wi-Fi and its own protocol to connect to the wireless remote, which I have but never use. I really like the ability that the GoPro has Wi-Fi in it because you can compare this with the Capture app on your iOS or Android device, and essentially your phone is a wireless viewfinder. So you can put the camera up on your helmet and angle it right whilst looking at your phone to see if you've got the right angle. Really cool stuff, and it's a live feed and it doesn't lag really at all. It's really, really, really crisp and really, really cool. One of my favourite features of this camera is the wireless functionality to your smartphone. Now obviously on the smartphone you have all the capabilities that you do with the touchscreen on the back. You can change every single setting, format the card, turn the GoPro off if you want to, which it will obviously leave the Wi-Fi on so you can turn the camera back on when you want to turn it back on. You can also look back at your footage and save footage offline, and with the app you can also download it and share it to GoPro's media platform where everyone's sharing all of their awesome skiing clips and GoPro clips that they've recorded through the app. And you can do that with the touch of a button over 4G or Wi-Fi. Really, really, really cool, and it's a really nice little community that GoPro are building here. Now this camera is brilliant when paired with the Karma drone. They work in unison together, but unfortunately I don't have a Karma drone to test this. Now I can sit here all day and tell you that the quality on this GoPro is, well, pretty much phenomenal when you bump it all the way up to 4K, and its low light and its low light mode is fairly good. And the only thing I'd say is when you're using higher frame rates, it introduces a little bit of noise into the image. So the battery life on this GoPro is the best I've ever seen. I can go through a couple of days shooting, maybe a 2-hour session each day with this GoPro and end up with a good 30% left. It is honestly really, really good. I record car sessions with my GoPro when I'm going on long haul trips to like London from where I live in Nottingham. This thing is at the front of my car recording for hours on end, and I can't seem to kill it, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever not been able to turn this GoPro on because of a battery problem at all. And with previous iterations of the GoPro, constantly found myself having to reach for that charger. So that's really good news. Now it does have a little screen on the front which gives you some information, tiny bits of information, like if it's recording, the time it's been recording, the mode that it's in, and all different bits and bobs like that. And you also do have numerous LEDs around the camera, so on the front, back, and on the top and sides. So no matter what angle you're looking at the GoPro, you see them flashing, you know you're recording. The camera also has image stabilization. Now this is also a good and a bad thing. It can kind of look a little bit odd when mounted to the exterior of a car because you can physically see the sensor sort of moving, or it's sort of cropped in a little bit, and it's a little bit odd. So sometimes I do find myself turning this off. It's not like I need to have this thing on 100% of the time, but if you're trying to get a nice cinematic shot and handheld shot with the GoPro, this is a welcome improvement, but not for when it's mounted to an object. I would turn it off then. So this is by far my most favourite feature of the GoPro Hero 5, and it's a reason to upgrade from a previous GoPro if you own one, and it's also a reason to go ahead and buy the GoPro Hero 5 if you don't have a GoPro and you're wondering which one to get. Right, watch this. GoPro, start recording. GoPro, stop recording. How cool is that? You can say certain things like GoPro, take a burst shot, or GoPro, start recording, GoPro, stop recording, GoPro this, GoPro that. If it's on your head and you don't want to touch it and you don't know what's going on, just talk to it and it will do what you want it to do without. It's really, really cool and intuitive, and it works like 99% of the time. But guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the full GoPro review in, well, around however long this video is, and that's what you're getting for £350. Honestly, if you need an action camera and you want to spend the money because you want to get the good results, I would recommend this bit of kit. Mine has been Alex, this has been TechFlow. We'll catch you in the next one.